Most people are not poor because they were destined to be. They are poor because they live by rules they never questioned, rules designed to keep them where they are. They are told to go to school, get a job, buy a house, and save what's left. They follow the script step by step, and still they end up with nothing to show for decades of work but bills debt and the fading hope that retirement will somehow save them. They work hard, but they never work free. They make money, but they never make it flow. Because here's the truth. No one wants to say out loud poverty is not just the absence of money. It is the presence of a system that keeps you spending, borrowing, and consuming while your future slips through your fingers. Most people don't see the trap because it's dressed up as comfort. They trade time for wages. They trade pay raises for bigger mortgages. They trade stability for the illusion of security. They don't realize that the more they own, the more they owe. They don't realize that every so-called milestone is another chain. And they never ask the most important question: is this taking from me? Or is this feeding me? The rich ask that question every day. The poor almost never do. The rich see every dollar as a worker to be deployed. The poor see it as a ticket to spend. The rich buy assets that create more income. The poor buy liabilities that create more bills. The rich focus on cash flow, the movement of money toward them. The poor focus on paychecks, the temporary moment money passes through their hands. This is why you can meet someone earning 6 figures who is still drowning in debt, and someone earning far less who is quietly building a fortune. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And what that kept money does next? Mindset is the dividing line. The poor are trained to think like consumers. From the moment they can walk, they are taught to buy, not build. They measure success by what they can show, not by what they can sustain. The rich are trained in where they train themselves to think like investors. They measure success by what they can grow. They look at a dollar and ask, how do I send this out to bring back more? Henry Ford didn't just make cars. He built systems that paid him while he slept. Andrew Carnegie didn't just sell steel. He owned the means to produce it endlessly. These men didn't think in terms of having money. They thought in terms of controlling the flow of it. And until you think the same way, your life will always be a reaction to bills instead of a creation of freedom. Belief is the ignition switch. The system wants you to believe you can't break free, that the game is too rigged, the gap too wide, the odds too stacked. Because as long as you believe that, you will never even try. But history is filled with people who started with less than you have right now. Immigrants with no language skills, laborers with no formal education, women and men who began in debt and poverty and absolute disadvantage and still built empires. They believed before the results appeared. They acted before they felt ready. They refused to let the story they were given be the story they lived. Belief is not naive hope. Belief is a weapon. It's the voice inside that says, I will not stay where I am no matter how long it takes to get where I'm going. And until you find that voice, you will keep living by someone else's plan. Clarity is the first tool in your hands once belief takes root. You cannot break free from a trap you refuse to see. And most people never truly look at their financial reality. They avoid the numbers because the numbers tell the truth. But the truth is the map. The truth shows you exactly where you are, exactly what's draining you, exactly what can be cut, flipped, or transformed into something that produces. Clarity means knowing your expenses to the dollar. It means tracking every source of income. It means asking of every bill, every payment, every purchase. Does this get me closer to freedom, or does it feed my captivity? It will hurt at first. It will strip away illusions you've carried for years. But it will also show you opportunities you've been walking past every day. Because once you see clearly, you can move deliberately. And deliberate movement is the first sign that you are breaking free. Vision is what turns movement into momentum. Once you know where you are, you must decide exactly where you're going. Not someday. Not more money. But a clear, a detailed, tangible destination. Most people stay poor because they never define wealth for themselves. They let society define it: the bigger house, the newer car, the higher salary, and they spend their lives chasing things that keep them broke. Your vision must be yours. It must be more than comfort. It must be freedom. Freedom to choose your work, your time, your environment, your life. Walt Disney's vision wasn't just a theme park, it was an empire of joy. Elon Musk's vision wasn't just electric cars, it was a world less dependent on oil. Your vision doesn't have to be global, but it must be specific, and it must pull you forward when comfort tries to pull you back. Because without vision, belief has nowhere to go. And without vision, your clarity will fade into distraction. Purpose is the fire that keeps you moving when the path feels endless. Without purpose, you will stall. Without purpose, you will break at the first setback. Without purpose, the small temptations of today will steal the great rewards of tomorrow. Purpose is bigger than money. Purpose is the reason you get up earlier than you want to. It's the reason you work on your vision when no one is clapping. It's the reason you save and invest when everyone else is spending and showing off. For some, purpose is their family, the determination that their children will never know the chains they carried. For others, it's freedom, the ability to walk away from anything that no longer serves them. For some, it's a legacy, to leave behind something that outlives their own years. Without that, why wealth becomes just another game you can get bored of. With it, every choice, every sacrifice, every act of discipline becomes an act of power. When you have purpose, you can endure the grind because you know what it's for. You can watch others race past you in flashy cars and still feel no envy because you know where your road is leading. Discipline is the steel frame holding everything together. It's easy to be motivated for a week. It's easy to follow the plan when nothing goes wrong. But discipline is when you keep going no matter what goes wrong. Discipline is saying no to the dinner out because that money is going into your investment account. Discipline is spending Sunday night reviewing your numbers when you'd rather be mindlessly scrolling. Discipline is turning off distractions so you can focus on building the thing that will free you. Every wealthy person you admire is built on discipline. Carnegie didn't build his steel empire by making the easy choice each day. Edison didn't invent the light bulb by working only when he felt inspired. They kept moving through rejection and failure and exhaustion because discipline made them unstoppable. The poor see discipline as restriction. The rich see it as liberation. Because when you master yourself, you master your money. Action is where the rich and poor finally split paths. The poor plan forever but never move. They wait for the right time to invest. They wait until they have more money to start a business. They wait until they know enough to make a move. The rich know the right time is now. They know the first dollar invested is more powerful than the perfect plan untouched. They know that momentum is built by doing, not by waiting. Action is what turns ideas into income. It's buying the first rental property. It's starting the online store. It's launching the side business after work, instead of watching TV. Action doesn't guarantee perfection. It guarantees progress. And progress, no matter how small, compounds into freedom over time. Gratitude is the guardrail that keeps success from turning into arrogance. When you start to rise, when you begin to break free, it's easy to forget where you came from. It's easy to think you're untouchable. That's when people get sloppy, reckless, and lose everything they built. Gratitude keeps you grounded. It reminds you that wealth is not just about you, it's about what you can do for others. It turns competition into collaboration, because you're no longer operating from fear. Gratitude is also fuel. It allows you to celebrate progress without losing hunger for more. It lets you enjoy what you have while still building what you want. And it shields you from the constant comparison that keeps so many trapped in the race to look rich instead of be rich. Adaptability is the skill that keeps your freedom alive. The world will change. Markets will crash. Industries will disappear. Technology will make old skills irrelevant. The poor panic when the old ways stop working. The rich pivot. Adaptability is why investors survive recessions. It's why entrepreneurs thrive in changing industries. It's why people who start with nothing can end up with more than those born with everything. Adaptability means you're willing to learn new skills, test new models, and shift your strategy without abandoning your mission. You don't cling to the way it's always been, you build for the way it's becoming. Those who refuse to adapt will eventually be left behind no matter how much they once had. Resilience is the final test, because the road to freedom is not smooth. You will lose deals. You will face setbacks. You will invest in something that doesn't work. The poor quit here. The rich rebuild here. Resilience is what turns every loss into a lesson. It's what allows you to get up after being knocked down harder than you ever imagined. It's what gives you the ability to start again with more wisdom, more skill, and more determination than before. Every person who has ever achieved lasting freedom has been broken at some point. The difference is, they didn't stay broken. And now, you stand at the edge of two paths. One leads where most people go into a life of bills, debt, and quiet resignation. The other leads to freedom, but it demands everything from you. Your old mindset, your old habits, your old excuses. If you want to break free, you cannot live like most people. You cannot spend like them. You cannot think like them. You cannot wait like them. You must be deliberate. You must be relentless. You must build a life where every decision is a step toward an independence. Because the truth is this. Most people stay poor because they never choose freedom with the urgency it demands. Choose now. Choose before another year slips away. Choose before your dreams shrink into memories. Break free and never look back. One day, you will wake up and realize you have two choices left. Keep living the way you've been told, or finally live the way you were meant to. You will look in the mirror and see the years you've traded for wages, the moments you've sold to pay for things you no longer even notice. And you will feel it deep inside the cost of staying. The same is now greater than the cost of changing. That day is not in the future, that day is now. Most people will never reach this point because they never let themselves feel the urgency. They keep saying someday until someday turns into never. They keep thinking they have time, not realizing the clock has been running since the moment they were born. But you know better now. You see the truth. Most people stay poor because they live in reaction. They wait for permission. They wait for perfect conditions. They wait for a break that never comes. Freedom does not come to those who wait. Freedom comes to those who take. Take control of your mind. Take control of your flow. Take control of every dollar, every skill, every resource you have, and make them work for you. You cannot drift into wealth. You cannot stumble into freedom. You must design it. You must defend it. You must demand it from yourself. And when the world calls you crazy, when they tell you to be realistic, when they mock your discipline and your vision, smile. Because you know the truth. You are building what they will one day wish they had. There will be days you doubt yourself. Days when the weight feels too heavy. Days when it would be easier to go back to the comfortable trap you knew. Don't. Because beyond that moment, beyond that pain, is the life you've been fighting for. And when you reach it, when you wake up one morning knowing you are free, you will see that every sacrifice, every setback, every act of discipline was worth it. You will stand in the life you built with your own hands. And you will know. You broke free. Most people will never get here, but you are not most people. You will not wait. You will not drift. You will not let the world decide what you can have. From this moment forward, you will move with purpose. You will think like the free. You will act like the wealthy, and you will never again live like the poor. Because you have chosen. Because you have decided. Because you know the truth. Why most people stay poor and how to break free comes down to one thing. They wait. You act. And when you act, you win. Now go. Build. Break free. And never look back.